It's where music rocks and the tide rolls. Known for a towering chief and an unbeatable bear. Along the river's edge, where higher education meets innovation and history awaits at every turn. This is Tuscaloosa. Following the War of 1812, settlement increased greatly throughout the Southeast. In what's now present-day Alabama, a small assortment of cabins would arise near the fall line of a sizable river. The new settlers would name the mighty river after legendary Native American chief Tuscaloosa, whose name derives from Muskogean language elements meaning Black Warrior. Today, the Black Warrior River is impounded along nearly its entire course to form a chain of reservoirs that not only provide a path for an inland waterway, but also yield hydroelectric power, drinking water, and industrial water. The river's presence encouraged the territorial legislature to incorporate the town of Tuscaloosa on December 13, 1819. One day before Congress admitted Alabama to the Union as the 22nd state. From 1826 to 1846, Tuscaloosa would serve as the capital of Alabama. During this time, in 1831, the University of Alabama was established. The addition of the university quickly forged the growth of the town's economy and population. However, the relocation of the state's capital to Montgomery caused a severe economic decline. State legislature would establish the state-of-the-art Alabama Insane Hospital, which operated under the guidance of Superintendent Peter Bryce, Alabama's first state psychiatrist. After his death in 1892, the facility was renamed Bryce Hospital in his honor. Though both Tuscaloosa County delegates voted against secession, Alabama would secede from the United States in January of 1861, with over 3,000 men from Tuscaloosa volunteering to fight in the Confederacy. In the waning weeks of the war, a brigade of Union troops met UA cadets on the eastern edge of the city. Overwhelmed and outnumbered 5-1, UA President Landon Garland made the decision to march the 300 boys back to campus, where they quickly gathered their belongings and fled east along the Huntsville Road. On the morning of April 4, 1865, Union troops led by General John T. Croxton invaded the UA campus with the command to burn every public building to the ground. Upon learning the campus was burning, the university's First Lady, Louisa Frances Garland, raced to the president's mansion to defend her home. As legend has it, her strength of will and presence of mind stopped the Federal Army from destroying the mansion, and the young soldiers even worked to put out the fire they had already started. Today, the only remaining campus buildings from the American Civil War are the President's Mansion, Maxwell Hall, the Little Roundhouse, and the Gorgas House. Had it not been for the actions of Louisa Garland, the entire university likely would have burned. After the Civil War, Tuscaloosa struggled with the rest of the South to recover, both economically and socially. In 1876, the Tuscaloosa Institute, now known as Stillman College, opened its doors to African American men studying for the ministry. And in 1893, Julia S. Tutwiler succeeded in lobbying the UA Board of Trustees to begin admitting women to the capstone. On the heels of local African American leaders, Shandy Jones and Delaware Jackson, John Big Daddy Bishop opened his first Dreamland Cafe next to his Tuscaloosa home in 1958. Still, nearly 100 years after the conclusion of America's bloodiest war, the fight for civil rights was only just beginning.
I think there is a need now for new legislation, a constitutional amendment to grapple with the real problems that we face in this area in Alabama and Mississippi and other areas of the South.
Alabama would serve as the site of many key events throughout the American Civil Rights Movement. Among them was the enrollment of Autherine Lucy to the University of Alabama in 1956. Upon her admittance, riots broke out across campus in what was, to date, the most violent anti-integration demonstration in history. In 1963, Alabama Governor George Wallace unsuccessfully attempted to prevent Vivian Malone and James Hood from entering Foster Auditorium and enrolling in classes at the Capstone. These courageous efforts were just a few of the countless sacrifices African Americans have made in the pursuit of equality and justice for all Alabamians and Americans alike. In the midst of Alabama's social revolution, 700 miles away in Chicago, a Druid City native was finding her place in the music business.
What a difference a day made.
Known as the Queen of Blues, Dinah Washington made a name for herself as a performer in Chicago's jazz clubs, sharing the stage with the likes of jazz legends Billie Holiday and Fats Waller. She soon began a solo career, stringing together 27 R&B top 10 hits from 1948 to 1955. In 1959, she won a Grammy with her rendition of What a Difference a Day Makes, rising to number 4 on the U.S. pop chart. In 2013, the city of Tuscaloosa opened the doors of the Dinah Washington Cultural Arts Center. This 12,000 square foot facility is home to a broad range of Tuscaloosa's annual community cultural arts events. Alongside the Tuscaloosa Amphitheater and Government Plaza, the Druid City hosts a plethora of performing arts events annually, featuring everything from local talent to national acts like Dave Matthews, John Legend, and Kelly Clarkson. UA law student William G. Little learned how to play football while attending prep school in Massachusetts and began teaching the sport to fellow Alabama students in 1892. Ever since, the program has birthed legendary coaches and titans of the game. More than 3 decades after Wallace Wade led the Tide to the 1926 Rose Bowl that changed the South, Paul Bear Bryant took over as the head coach of the Alabama football team. After 323 wins and 6 national championships, many called Bear Bryant's era the golden age of Alabama football. Years later, Nick Saban would create an empire of his own by leading Alabama to another 5 national football titles. These championships would create a culture of dominance in Tuscaloosa, with a variety of national titles won in gymnastics, golf, softball, and adapted athletics, giving birth to the name Titletown.
This is a large, violent tornado coming up on downtown Tuscaloosa. Be in a safe place right now. This will be a day that will go down in state history.
On April 27th, 2011, Tuscaloosa endured the most intense weather catastrophe in its history. Alabama witnessed 55 tornadoes in a single day, with an EF4 tearing through the heart of Tuscaloosa. In total, 253 people were killed in the state of Alabama, including 53 in Tuscaloosa. It is the single biggest catastrophe in the history of the city, and a day that will never be forgotten. Rising from the rubble, Tuscaloosa unified and worked hard to build a stronger city, investing over $400 million in the recovery zone since 2011. Today, new sections of Tuscaloosa stand, not only as a renovation, but as a reminder to Druid City residents of the tragedy and resilience of that fateful day. Since 1819, this once small frontier town has grown in size and prosperity. It stands as a diverse community filled with rich history, monumental progress, and global inspiration and innovation. This is Tuscaloosa.